Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thanks once again for joining me today. I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which I hope doesn't bore you, but it sure excites me. It's reading. The 90s Gold. Before we get into it, though, I want to please ask you to hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell, leave me a comment and a like, share out this video, whatever platform you're watching on. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Facebook, so wherever you are, I would really appreciate it if you would support the channel, giving me a like, giving me a sub, and leaving me a nice comment. If it's a main one, it's fine. I'll meet you with your shame energy, makes no difference to me. Earlier in the year, I released my first reading list for 2021, which was, going to cover the quarter, and now that quarter has moved on. I've written my thoughts on all the books except for Jonathan Kellerman's Rage, and that's because when I'm actually a little bit more done with the series, I want to do a complete overview of Jonathan Kellerman's Alex Delaware mystery series. So I'm going to postpone anything that addresses a book individually. Instead, I'm going to talk about the books that were kind of one-off or standalone or whatever. So anyway, without further ado, here's part 2 of the StudioJake reading list for 2021. Before Disney got their clutches into the Star Wars universe, there was this thing called the Expanded Universe. Now, prior to the release of the prequels and the animated series, there wasn't a whole lot of Star Wars content coming out, barely any comic books, nothing major. So us fans, we had to turn to what was called the Expanded Universe. It was a series of books that were coming out. This one was released by Bantam, and this one is Star Wars: The Darksaber. And basically it centers around the big three: Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia. The three of them are searching for a gang of Hutts that have stolen the firing mechanism for the Death Star so they can rebuild the gun, in which they're calling the Darksaber. I know some of you thought, whoa, the Darksaber? That goes as far back as the books from the 90s? No, it does not go back that far. So this is an unrelated Darksaber, but I'm excited to read it. I'm really curious, quality-wise, as far as, the Disney's, the High Republic and all of that ridiculousness. I'm curious to see where this one is going to go and how it stands. I've already started it a little bit. I'm on chapter 4 as we speak, and I'm using this really nifty 10 art Darth Vader thing as my bookmark. I got that at a Comic-Con. Hashtag bring back Comic-Con. So many of you know that I reviewed Rokka, Braves of the Six Flowers, the anime on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. So here is the light novel. This isn't a manga, obviously. This is a light novel. They did do a manga version. And I was so frustrated by the spoiler, the cliffhanger of the anime. It's never been completed, and so I wanted to go back to where it all began and check it out. So, as you can see, there's Framey. She is the Saint of Gunpowder. That's her on the cover. So far, I'm just still in book 1, and so far it's exactly like the anime. So I'm curious to see. It does go to a little bit more lore than the anime does, but I'm curious to see where it's going to go next, if there's anything else. But so far, as you can see, I'm a little bit further into it. I just started these books in April, but this one I'm just absorbing really fast. I can't wait to let you know how it goes. All right, so this one, you might be scratching your head a little bit, but this is Dana Perino's book, Everything Will Be Okay, Life Lessons for Young Women from a Former Young Woman. And I am reading this book because Dana Perino, she's been on StudioJake before. She is a friend of the show, and I'm really glad that I know her. I don't know her well. We're not like besties or anything, but she has given me some career advice before in the past, and so I just wanted to give her book a shout out. I wanted to give it a read, and later, whenever I do my bit on it, I'll let you know how it is, what I think of it. And I'll be honest, Dana, like I said, she's someone I deeply respect as someone who has entered the business world, the political world, and the news world. I respect her a great deal, so I wanted to give her new book a try. All right, so this was actually a gift. My best friend, who lives in Michigan, you might know him as Scratimus, he sent me this as a gift, Batman Nightwalker. It's supposed to center on Bruce Wayne right when he returns to Gotham after his long martial arts journey of discovery. It's written by Marie Lu. Now I have to admit, outside of this book, I'm very unfamiliar with her work, so I can't tell you any expectations of it. I am excited to read it because all of you know I'm a huge Batman fan, as you can see from my DC Fandom shirt. I got the Batman: The Adventure Continues right here, right now. So I'm very excited to read this. I think it's going to be good. I've only read like the first 2 chapters of it, but I'm looking forward to what's going down in it, and I'll let you know what I think. Picking up where we left off with Rage, I'm also continuing the Alex Delaware novels with Gone, of course, written again by Jonathan Kellerman. I'm very excited to read this book. Rage was really good. It ended a little differently than a lot of his other novels end, so I was a little surprised. I thought maybe some of the elements that were, shall we say, left open from that book would continue into this one, but it's not. It's kind of its own standalone mystery, as all of his books are. I'm sure he's going to revisit the other ones down the series. I will say, because Rage was actually the first book I had read that was written by Jonathan Kellerman, and then I went back and started from the beginning, and it is nice to understand the characters in context. So besides Alex Delaware, you also have Milo Sturgis, who is his best friend, and he's also a police detective. You've got his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Robin, who is I don't know what you would call it, but she designs instruments. She handcrafts them for like bands and singers and whatnot. She's a really cool character. In the previous couple of books, he was dating a woman named Allison. And after he and Robin broke up, so spoiler, I hope I didn't spoil anything. Read over, this is way deep into the series. The series starts from the 80s, and now we're in the 2000s at this point. Although this book kind of seems like it takes place in the 90s. He doesn't really give years, but in my opinion, that's what adds to the timelessness of it. It's really good to get a glimpse of what Los Angeles was like during this period. It's really interesting. He has a lot of good insight. He really gets Southern California. He really understands the area, and me living in Southern California now, I really get a grasp. And like, he mentions streets that I've been on, and I think some of the places obviously he changes the names of, but you kind of get a familiarity. You're like, oh yeah, I think this place is based on this place. Really good stuff. I'm excited to read it. Alright, so my last segment is going to be a shameless plug. Please consider adding my book, The Seven Royals Breaking the Stars, to your reading list. It's a high fantasy sequel that goes into deeper understandings of the Seven Royals, who they are. They advance further. They're up against a villain from the first book named The Wicker Man. I highly recommend it if you like Of course, I recommend it. It's my novel, duh. I do recommend it, and I hope you will add it. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes & Noble. And right now, booklocker.com is where you can get the digital edition if you prefer it for your e-reader. So head over to any of those websites. You can download it there. I really hope you do that. So that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope that you subscribe, ring the little bell, leave me a comment. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Don't give me any spoilers, but tell me what you think of them. Head over to all my socials. I've got them listed in the description below. You can also find me on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I talk about novels, I talk about movies, anime, television, comic books, pretty much everything that has to do with pop culture. So head over there, consider subscribing by email. And once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.